Hey, what's going on YouTube? Bear Here's Bear Delivers. Welcome to my channel. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Oh, what's going on YouTube? I am back. Uh, Wanted to fill you guys in here. Well, as you know from my previous videos, I was going to work for K&B Transportation out of Nebraska. That is not the case. I actually just got back early this morning. They flew me 3,000 miles, only to turn around and fly me 3,000 miles back home, uh, trying to make it seem like giving me a ticket home was them being nice, which it's not. They're required by FMCSA regulations to return a driver to their point of origin. So in other words, wherever they fly you in from, they are required to fly you back at their cost. They tried to make it seem like they were doing me a favor, and I pointed out to them that it's stop making it look like it's a favor. You guys are required by law to get me back to where you got me from, so that's that. So what happened? Well, let's before we get into what happened. There were 10 of us in orientation. When I walked out of orientation, there were 3 left. Uh, they are serious control freaks. Now, when I put in the application with them, their advertisement said must have 12 months OTR within the last 3 years, which I do have. In fact, I've got 11, 12 years of OTR. I have over 2 million miles under me driving OTR. Uh, Went down there, went through all their hoops, got a fresh DOT physical, which I just did 2 months ago. Had to get a new one. They didn't care that I had one that was fresh. They said, doesn't matter. If I got my DOT physical done the day before orientation, I had to go get their DOT physical, which is fine. That's fine. I mean, I did it, no problem. I passed it. Uh, some of the other stuff they get going on down there is, well, let's get back to why they let me go. Uh, I had already had my tractor assignment, had my fuel card, had my first load dispatch in my hands. It was a load from right down the street from them there in Sioux City, South Sioux City, Nebraska, going to Colorado with a load of beef. So I already had my truck assignment, had my dispatch, everything. We're just wrapping up the orientation. They were handing out the equipment, handing us our tablets, teaching us how to use, getting ready. That was the only thing we had left to do was them teach us how to use their tablets the way they want them done. And then all of a sudden, I get called in. There were only 4 of us left for orientation. The safety manager comes in, does his spew. Then a couple minutes later, he calls me into the back. He says, "You know something? It was just brought to my attention that you came here from Alaska." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "So you don't have any over-the-road experience?" I says, "No, I've been driving tractor trailers since 2000. Uh, I have several years of over-the-road experience. Just the last 2 years has been doing local, and I'm ready to get back on the road. I just need a little break for a little while." He's like, "Well, we require 12 months recent 12 months over the road uh, experience." I said, "Well, I've got that." He goes, "But you were in Alaska." I said, "Yeah." I might have been driving local in Alaska for the last 2 years, but for over a decade before that, I've been driving over the road the entire 48. I've driven down into Mexico, and I've driven loads up here to Alaska from the lower 48. I've driven loads into Canada from lower 48. So I've got cross-border operations. I've got experience with reefer, dry van, port, flatbed, pneumatic tanker, hot shot, roll off. I've got experience in lots of different equipment in lots of different areas of the country. I've got hazmat endorsement. I've got doubles. I've got triples. I've got TWIC. I've even got the G endorsement, which is for autonomous vehicles. Well, I should say I had the G endorsement at one point, uh, which is a very rare endorsement to have. He's like, yeah, but it's not recent experience. I said, well, what do you mean by recent? How do you define recent? He goes, we need 12 months recent experience. It's my rule. I can't bend the rule for you and not break it for anybody else. I said, what are you talking about? What do you consider recent experience? All you say is you just need 12 months recent experience. What for you is recent? Most companies refer to recent as in the last 3 years, some the last 5 years. I said, and your ad that I answered said 12 months in the last 3 years. I asked the dispatch, or not the dispatcher, the recruiter specifically about that. And he says, it won't be a problem. Now you're telling me it's a problem? I find it kind of funny. And because that right there, that was the reason they cut me loose. Because I don't have recent, 12 months of recent when they cannot define recent. And for most companies, recent, like I said, is within the last 3 years. So it's not like I haven't been driving a truck. I haven't been sitting in my car. I haven't been home sitting on my ass for the last 2 years. I've been driving a Class 8 vehicle. I've been driving a full-size truck and trailer. I have the experience. I said, driving up there in Alaska is a lot different than it is driving down here in the lower 48. Everything you go through in the lower 48 over the road, we go through here in a short distance between the aggressive driving, the city driving, the highway driving, the mountainous driving. We've got it all here. He didn't want to hear it. All he knew is I didn't have 12 recent months when he could not define recent. I don't know, guys. Oh, yeah, that was the reason they cut me loose and sent me back here. And he was making a big deal out of having to send me all the way back to Alaska. And they asked me during class, they asked everybody where they were from, trying to decide whether they were going to be taking their trucks home with them during their 10-day vacations or they were bringing them back to Nebraska. And when he got to me, he turns around and said, oh, you're from Alaska. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to be having to buy you a ticket each way, huh? I said, yes, you are. I said, but I'm not planning on staying out just for the minimum 2 months at a time. I'll stay out 3 or 4 months at a time and then go home for 10, 15 days and come back. And he was happy to hear that, the one guy. This guy here didn't want to hear it. Uh, he is an absolute control freak. He was talking about a new system that he just implemented that he brought in called, what was it, eSmart, where they take full control of your tractor. They all the trucks are governed to 65 miles an hour at both the pedal and cruise control. It's not like other companies where they give you that extra 2 or 3 miles an hour. With the cruise control, they don't have the uh, overtake option where you pump the pedal twice and you can go about 5 miles an hour faster for the next like 15 minutes. So you can get around traffic, uh, get around the slower moving vehicles in front of you. Like who was it? Prime at 58 miles an hour. Uh, this new e-system they got in, they've got it in, he said, 20 trucks right now, and they were showing it on screen, the mapping of the trucks and how the geofencing was working. And he says by October, they plan on implementing this through all the trucks. This is something he saw, he liked, he brought in. He sets geofences like through major cities. Doesn't matter if the speed limit in a major city is 65 miles an hour. They set up geofencing. When you get into those areas, your truck automatically slows down to 55 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour below the posted speed limit. And that's all they'll let you do through the city. So they want you impeding traffic. They want drivers getting the tickets for impeding traffic. Um, they can set it up so if you're driving into inclement weather, they can set up a geofence this side to this side of a certain area of a city, town, state, what have you, to reduce your truck speed to 45 miles an hour on the highway. Don't matter if the weather is clear in front of you. All they know is the weather report says that there was a possibility of severe weather in that area. So from this hour to this hour, you can only drive 45 miles an hour in those zones. If you're coming up to a school zone, it automatically reduces your speed to 20 miles an hour. You can't, no matter what you do, your truck will not go over 20 miles an hour. They control the throttle speed on it. And if they decide they want to fire you and send a recovery team out to you, they'll watch and wait until you're stopped somewhere for your 10-hour break, your 30-minute break, what have you. They will set your truck's speed to 0, so you can't go anywhere. You can start the truck up, you can run the truck, you just cannot drive the truck, you cannot move the truck. So what if you're in the middle of a fuel island and they shut your truck off and it's going to be stuck there for the next couple of hours while they get a recovery team out there to you? Uh, this is stupid. It is unsafe in my professional opinion as a professional driver, decades of experience, millions of miles behind me, certified accident reconstructionist and accident investigator under my own private detective's license. This is dangerous. They want full control over everything you do. Granted, they don't have cameras in your truck other than the CMS system that's Freightliner provides, which does lane departure, lane avoidance, collision mitigation, or it'll automatically slow you down if it thinks you're too close to the vehicle in front of you, or if somebody cuts in front of you. Even though it's not your fault, it's still going to trigger that camera. It's going to slow the truck down, and it's going to send them alert saying, hey, he just had a hard braking event. When it wasn't because of him, it was because a car cut in front of him. That little space we keep between us and the vehicle in front of us, for safety, give us room to slow down and stop in the event of an emergency. And you got these impatient drivers that see that open spot. Oh, why is he so far behind that car? That's a safe place for me. And they will cut in and cut you off. Uh, yeah, it's ignorant drivers, but it always gets blamed on the trucker. It's just absolutely ridiculous the amount of controls they want to put on you. Yeah, you stay out 8 weeks, then they bring you back, either send you home or they bring you back to the yard in Nebraska and fly you home for 10 days and then fly you back to continue working. No slip seating, so if you're home for the 10 days, nobody else is getting in your truck until about the 12th day. Then they'll reassign the truck to somebody and take it as you quit. But during that 10 days, they're supposed to bring the truck in for the preventative maintenance, do any repairs or anything needs to be done. It gives them the time to work on the truck, which is okay. I like that idea. Uh, their um, guarantee of $1,750 a week minimum pay or 2,500 miles. If you're on what they call the Road Warrior program, where you're making 70 cents a mile, you stay out for 2 weeks at a time, then you get 10 days home time. If you're flying home, then you get 12 days home time. They give you a day on each side for travel, so you're well rested when you come back. Um, they and one person says they pay you for that time off. It's bonus money. Uh, Another person says it's unpaid time, so they're a little confused on how they're handling that, whether they're actually getting paid for your home time or not. Uh, they say to get these $1,750 a week minimum guarantee, you have to be available for dispatch 7 days a week. You cannot have any late deliveries that they can attribute to you. So, say you oversleep 30 minutes one day and you're 5 minutes late getting to your delivery. Well, now you don't get, for that whole week, you don't get uh, your guaranteed bonus. So they guarantee you this money, and then they look for ways not to give it to you. When it comes to dispatch, it is forced dispatch. You cannot refuse any load unless it's going to New York City. They will try and force you into taking it anyways. They'll give you a $150 incentive to go into New York City with the load. I won't do it. I won't take the $150. I wouldn't go into New York City. Another area they go into quite frequently is Chicago, which is forced dispatch. A lot of people don't like dealing with Chicago. They have tablets for dispatch with GPS routing. You have to follow their routing exact to the letter. What's on their GPS tablet is the routing they give you. If you go off route for any reason, they charge you. One guy was talking about he got charged $500 to go off route, and he only went about 2 miles out of his way, so he says. Uh, so it's stupid. It's ridiculous. They just want full control over you. They promise you everything and then do everything they can to avoid fulfilling those promises. Uh, what are some of the other crap they did? I mean, there was so much that had me shaking my head during orientation. And one guy got up and left during orientation after half this stuff, especially when that eSmart presentation came out about them being able to control the speed of your tractor. They have it set for whatever the road speed limit is, and throughout the country, rural areas, urban areas, what have you. If the speed limit there is 35 miles an hour, your truck will not do more than 35 miles an hour. It won't give you 1 mile an hour over the posted speed limit. If you do a U-turn, their software detects it, and they'll zoom in and they'll look at it. If you're doing a U-turn on a public road or a main road or a highway or something, unless there was a cop standing there and had the road closed in front of you until you have to turn around and go back. Like on I-80, a lot of times during the winter months, you have like Wyoming, they'll shut down the highway because of the roads. And the gates will come down, but they'll have the turnout there open, and all vehicles, including tractor trailers, have to turn around and go back, like in places like Wyoming, Laramie, or rather Cheyenne and Laramie, Wyoming, I should say, where often in the winter times you do get turned around on the highway. They will go and look at the history, the 501, the road report history for that area. And if it's not showing a road closure, they bring you back to the yard and they fire you. They don't want you doing U-turns, period. And I've talked to a driver that said, yeah, that is the case. That's why he was going home. He was on the shuttle I was taking with me back to Oklahoma to get, or Omaha rather, to get on the plane to fly home. Yeah, he just got fired because he made a U-turn. He said he missed his turn. He went up to a wide open area in the road where other vehicles were making U-turns at. It was a posted U-turn, and he made the U-turn there, and they brought him back and fired him over the U-turn, even though it was a legal, legitimate U-turn. Yeah, the controls they have and the monitoring systems they have on the trucks are so strict, so tight, they don't give you any room. Even for simple mistakes, they won't tolerate it. Even if it's something that's out of your control, something you absolutely have to do, they will still cut you loose for it. They say that it's a $1,500, well, actually $3,000 driver referral bonus, is what they tell you at orientation. The recruiter said $500 driver recruitment bonus, referral bonus. They say the way it works is if you give them a driver referral, the driver makes it through orientation, gets out on the road. When they do their first week's pay, when they get their first week's paycheck, in your paycheck, you'll see a $1,500 driver referral bonus. Then after 2 months, if they are still there, now they do their 2 months out on the road, to go home for 10 days and come back. Once they get their first paycheck, when they come back, you'll get an additional $1,500 referral bonus. So they're saying, promising you $3,000 referral. I don't see it. I don't know any company that pays that much. The most I've ever gotten was $500. Western Flyer Express. In fact, that's one of the reasons I left. 11,000 of the 25,000 and change they owe me was for unpaid driver referrals. I recruited over 20 drivers for them at $500 a piece. They came up with excuses not to pay me, primarily saying, oh, they came in through an outside recruiter, when I know damn good well they did not. I called the recruiter into the payroll office. When he walked in, first words out of his mouth is, hey, Barry, you got some recruits for me? And before he even said anything to him, he says, yeah, this guy's our best friggin' recruiter. He turned around and said, really? He goes, yeah. I said, here's a list of the drivers that I brought in, that I recruited, that I gave you. I was in direct communication with this specific company in-house recruiter. I said, here's a list of names. Did you recruit these guys? He pulled out his tablets, went through. He goes, yeah, you recruited every single one of them. I said, did they go through you or did they go through an outside recruiter? He goes, no, I got a hold of them when you gave me the information, and I handled the recruitment on them. Why? I says, well, they're telling me they came through an outside recruiter. He said, no, we brought them in directly through the company. And they turned around and said, well, it's shown in the system that they came in through an outside recruiter, so we're not paying the referral bonus. Hello? You just admitted that we just had the guy come in that did the actual recruitment and hiring of these guys, who is a company recruiter, who confirmed to you that they came in through him, and you're still refusing to pay. Ay, Dios. I don't know, man. Every company has its faults. There, I used to sing the praises of Western Flyer Express all the time, but there at the end, when I'm seeing more and more stuff go wrong, the way they were treating drivers, the way they were not paying, I mean, that's why they got sued. That was that major class action lawsuit, which I've talked about in previous videos. But anyways, we're getting off that. We're getting off topic here. Back to K and B. I won't recommend K and B. And, you know, I find it funny that I had mentioned to one of the recruiters that, because he said during the recruitment dispute, they came out and he said, yeah, we even have it set up where If you want your own referral link, your IntelliLink through the Pulse 10 Street application, which is who we apply through, uh, let me know. I will create a specific link just for you, so you would even be able to track your referrals. When they fill out the application through your link, it automatically tags you in it, and you get to follow their application process and see when they get hired, when they start, and when they come back. So you know when you're going to expect to get your payments. So I went and talked to the guy. He's like, yeah, well, just curious, how are you going to recruit drivers? I says, well, I have a YouTube channel, a Twitch channel. I have over 18,000 subscribers and followers on my YouTube channel. I have over 10,000 followers and subscribers on my Twitch channel. I've got thousands on my Twitter channel, and the majority of them are drivers, and a lot of them are looking for work. I've recruited for Western Flyer Express. I recruited over 20 drivers in 2 years. And he's like, yeah, here, boom, boom, boom. He set me up the link right then and there. He asked me what my YouTube channel was. And I find it kind of funny that just moments, maybe 15 minutes after we had the conversation and he set the link up for me, that all of a sudden I'm getting the axe. They had no policies. They didn't talk about any policies and procedures when it comes to social media or talking about the company or anything like that. Although I haven't seen many videos out here on YouTube about not Western Flyer, K&B Transportation put out by current drivers. There's a couple videos put out by the company themselves, but I don't see any drivers' videos up there. So I find it kind of odd too that right after they found out about this, they let me go. But then again, they can't define recent, so who knows? They got me home as they were required, although it still cost me $100 out of my pocket when I got to Seattle for my layover. There was no seat assignment. They didn't book me a seat. And I had to pay an extra $100 to get a seat assignment, or I had to wait 2 more days layover there for a flight without seats. That had an open seat. Because coming from there to Alaska, the planes are always booked full. So I had to pay $100 to get a seat in the back of the plane, sandwiched in between two people. It was only a 3.5 hour flight, but still, that's not the point. It cost me $100 out of my pocket. And I sent them a message, and we'll see if I hear from them. I said, hey, it cost me another $100 out of my pocket to get a ticket from Seattle to Anchorage because you guys didn't book me a seat. I had to do it as a change seat because there were no seats booked for me. On these flights, you have to choose your seats. They didn't choose a seat for me. So we'll see if they reimburse me for that. I am not holding my breath. Now, they say there's no orientation pay, no sign-on bonus. They give you money, but they don't consider that. They give you a $100 gift card when you leave orientation, so you can stop at Walmart and get some food for your truck to get you going on the road. They did give me that already before they let me go. In fact, they gave me 2 of them because they let me go. They gave me a second one. Ooh. They give you a $150 travel allowance to fly down there in case you got to buy an extra bag or something, or you got to pay to put your bag, check your bag in, which I ended up doing. It ended up costing me $75 both ways to check one of my bags. But if I'd gotten hired, they would have paid me $150 for that, for travel allowance. So that would have been nice anyways. They give you a $400 sign-on. They don't call it a sign-on bonus, but technically it's a sign-on bonus. So basically, they give you $650. $150 for coming in to orientation. They give you $400 for your first load, and they give you $100 for a Walmart gift card to get you started and get you going on the road to stock your truck up. So there is that. But the way they talk to you at orientation and talk to you through the whole process, very rude, very condescending. Even during the driving test and the backing test, I scored the highest out of everybody that was there for my orientation. They do score you. They give you a number score. I got the highest score on both sides of all 10 drivers that went through it. One driver didn't even survive the driving road test. He got sent home right after that. So I don't know what happened. He was in the truck behind me. Don't know what happened, but they sent him home right after the road test. No, I don't know. Didn't get a chance to talk to him, so I don't know why he went home. There was one guy there. He's an immigrant from Haitian. He has his U.S. citizenship. Uh, there was a little bit of a communication issue there. They had to keep telling him a couple times how to do certain things, and he was having trouble grasping it because, well, English isn't his first language. And next thing you know, he was gone. They sent him home. He was gone. And it seemed like it was just because it was either racially motivated or it was because of the language barrier. Yes, FMCSA does require that drivers read, write, and speak English fluently enough to be able to assist investigators and inspectors on roadside inspections if there's an accident or they're going to speak with law enforcement or things like that. This guy, he was borderline. They ended up sending him home. Don't know exactly why, but it seemed like it was because of the language barrier a little bit. Seemed like a nice enough guy, but hey, who am I to say? I don't know what his background is, what his past is. I just know what mine is and what my experience is and what my references were. And apparently, 2 million miles over the road was not enough for him. My wide range of experience and expertise in different types of equipment wasn't enough for him. All they cared about was I didn't have 12 recent months, but yet they cannot define recent. Like I said before, most companies define recent as the last 12 months. All right, guys, I'm going to clip it there. It's about 30 minutes long, right about where I wanted to keep this talking head video for you. Yeah, I'm going to go. It's 8:20 at night right now. It's 20:20, so I got just enough time to make it to the store and do some shopping. I haven't eaten anything today. I just woke up a little while ago. I got home at about 8 o'clock this morning, so I've been sleeping for a good 10, 11 hours. Kind of tired and exhausted from the travel and all the BS I just went through. So let me go get some shopping done. And in the morning, I'm going to be back online looking for work still. Hopefully, I can find something here before too long. All right, guys, that's it for now. As always, keep it between the ditches, keep the shiny side up, the river side down. I'll see you out there on the highway, and go Army, be Navy.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.